Howdy everybody, here for a little bit different kind of video than I normally do. This one's going to be sort of a multi-purpose video for both my smithing fans and my gardening fans. Today I'm making a big batch of wood ash using garden waste, things like mulberries that came up in the wrong spot, invasive honeysuckle, things that I don't need around and that I don't want to risk resprouting, because if I bury them in mulch, they may come back up at the end of winter right now. So I'm already burning a big fire. And while I'm at it, I wanted to talk about, maybe you don't live in an area where you have a lot of trees to burn for wood ash. Cardboard boxes are a great source, as long as they're not plasticized. There is ink on this box, but it's not a plasticky ink. If I add moisture to it, I apologize for the grossness of that, but it's what I have at hand. You see the water soaks straight in. So this is not plasticized or waxed. It is just cardboard with ink. And the ink in the modern day is almost always soybean based. So throwing cardboard, sticks, things like that, as long as it's unprocessed wood, as long as you make sure you get all the plastic tape off, you can still use all of this stuff as good quality wood ash in your garden. My second purpose for this video is showing you how to make charcloth. I'm using an Altoids tin, and I've just got it full of old jean material. This is also what I cut up and use when I ship pretty much anything out of my smithing shop. I use it as extra packaging material. So you can do charcloth in a whole lot of different ways, but the main thing is you are burning a natural material, such as 100% cotton, without access to air. So because there's no access to air, you can't really achieve a proper burn. You can just carbonize the material. And Altoids tins already have enough of a gap all the way around that you don't have to punch a hole in them. So I could throw this straight into the flames, but there's a risk of it opening. I'm instead going to just put it right up against the side. Alright, right there. So I'm going to get that fire good and hot again, throw more sticks in, throw more clean cardboard in, and once it gets roaring, that Altoids tin should turn black, and it should turn everything inside into charcloth. So I will probably quit recording and come back to that in a little bit, probably with a bit more information about the plant side of things as well, how to use the wood ash. So we'll be right back. Okay, I'm filming from a new angle here. Right now you're seeing the Altoids tin from the side. A bit of the cardboard came out of the fire and landed next to it, so I just let it get heated from both sides. But you can see there are little jets of flame shooting out of the tops of the hinge on the Altoids tin. As long as there's still flame coming out, it's still making charcoal or charcloth. So that's a good way of knowing it's not ready yet. So if you still see those little jets of flame coming out the top, let it keep cooking. All right, I'm gonna cut away again now, and I'll see you all again here in a minute. Let's see how it goes. All right, it's been going for a few minutes more. It's definitely still burning. The cardboard around it has been burning up a bit at a time. So is the cardboard in the barrel, of course, so there's heat on it from both sides. Probably could have done it just from the heat of the barrel alone, but, something fell out, might as well. But, I just wanted to go over again some of the uses for this ash. And again, remember, if you're going to do something like this to save the ash, I'm not just burning to burn. I'm not burning trash here. I'm burning cleaned cardboard with all of the plastic removed, all the labels, all of the tape, everything like that has got to go, because you don't want plastic particles or melted plastic mixed in with your food supply or your gardening stuff. So remove all the labels, remove all the tape, remove anything that's plastic. Ink is generally fine. It's generally soy-based anymore, and you should be good to go. Of course, I also am adding in things like sticks. Just any sticks that I've cut down over the year. I've had them drying, and now I'm burning them up. The ashes were oftentimes used to make a fertilizer historically known as potash. or potash, which becomes potassium, one of the three main food groups, so to speak, for plants. So if you need more potassium, wood ash, and cardboard is nothing more than wood fiber, by mixing them all together, you are able to create a great potassium-rich fertilizer to be able to mix in with your crops, or mix in with the soil for your crops, and that potassium-rich material is water soluble. It will also change the pH of your soil, so you want to use it sparingly if you don't want to change the pH of your soil. On the other hand, if you want to, you can research how to use it specifically to change your soil around. What I usually hear, depending on different people, is anywhere from a quarter to a full cup per 100 square feet is not enough to change the pH of your soil. I've heard those numbers time and time again, and I'd say they're probably pretty likely. So there shouldn't be an issue with that much wood ash changing your pH, but it will add a lot of potassium to your soil, which can be used for everything from trees to small veggies. Potassium is very important for all plants. Well, as I've been rambling to you guys, you might see we've hit that critical moment in the charcloth making process. There's no longer smoke, or no longer flame, coming out of the top of that Altoids tin. In fact, the more I look at it, I don't even see smoke coming out of that Altoids tin. Maybe just a little bit. So at this point, you feel confident that it's done, you can start to inch it off the fire. But if you open it, even accidentally at this phase, it is going to immediately combust. All of the charcloth inside is going to simply catch fire and burn up almost immediately. There it is. So you have to be pretty careful, pretty mindful of what you're doing, because if you accidentally knock it open, as soon as oxygen touches that material, it's going to go up. It's going to burn up immediately. I'm going to pause again here, make another cut, and hopefully it will be cooled off enough to touch by the time I come back. Alright, see you guys in a minute. Alright everybody, here for that final cut. Here's my Altoids box after it's been through the flames. Let's see how my charcoal came out. It could be terrible. I haven't checked yet. My charcloth should be inside. Alright, it looks pretty much perfect. There's a little bit of sort of a metallic material on the edge that always seems to happen the first time I fire in one of these containers. Here, let me just dump out everything from the tin. Blowing away the metal, because it won't help us. Now I could offer to sell charcloth. Maybe someday if there's more demand I will. But personally I think charcloth is such an easy, cheap thing to make. There's no reason for me to go out there and make it for you. It's all just scrap pieces of denim from a pair of pants I wore to death. Wore till they fell apart. Instead of throwing the whole things away, I made charcloth. So, there's the tin back in your sight. Of course, you don't have to use a whole square at a time. This stuff breaks apart quite easily. So, you can just go right up to however much you need, and you can tear it that easily. Just gentle, gentle, gentle pressure, and it tears right through. So, yep. Material itself is very fragile, and it will just disintegrate if it touches water. So keep it dry, keep the whole thing in a Ziploc, or you could put it in a more watertight container. An Altoids tin will not keep the water out if you go into a river or oh, excuse me, been breathing in a lot of smoke. But if you fall in a river or anything, the Altoids tin will not keep out that water, so keep that in mind. Find a way to keep it waterproof. All sorts of waterproof bags and items exist on the market today, but that right there gives a fresh batch of charcoal, or charcloth. Now, the concept of how this is done is the exact same for charcoal. That's why I keep accidentally saying charcoal. In fact, in a burn barrel like that, you can also, because charcoal is tougher than this stuff would just wash away, but you can also get a ton of wood in there, get it really hot, make sure all of it's glowing embers, and then just douse the whole thing in water. And that will cause it to sort of pop open like charcoal. I mean, like popcorn. It pops the charcoal apart, and you can make really good biochar that way for inoculating your soils. So there's how to make charcoal. Theoretically, how to make, here's how to make charcloth. Theoretically, how to make charcoal, and then from there, biochar. I might shoot more videos on biochar later on. But yeah, hopefully this satisfies both sides of my audience and maybe brings in some new ones. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, everybody. And maybe consider subscribing to my YouTube, Patreon, or Etsy shop. Thank you very much.